Action! And welcome back to Bleacher Bum TV. I'm your host, Carl. This is an in-studio show brought to you by Barstool Sports Chicago regarding the Chicago Cubs in Wrigleyville. It's episode 4, and we got a special guest coming your way with neighborhood correspondent Danny Conrad. We're going to get to there. But first, we got to talk about our Chicago Cubs. Absolutely brutal fucking home stretch this past week in Wrigley Field. And we had a lot of optimism, guys. We went into this home stretch. It was a 7-game stand at 5-4. And I said in this very seat last week that if the Cubs went 3-4, 4-3, 5-2, we're laughing our way to the bank. We're off. We're running. It's April. We're in great mood. They went 2-5, guys. We went 2-5. We currently sit, what's our record? 7-9. It's not fucking great, especially when you win that first game against the Rays. But I got some good news. We win the first game against the Rays. Everybody's good. The vibes are high. We're 6-4. We're deep into this little stretch at home. And then what happens? We proceed to go 1-5 with 3 one-run losses. Another loss by 2 runs. And the only game we won over that stretch was 21-0. It's the greatest shutout win by the Cubs at home or something. It's the 3rd biggest shutout win in the history of Major League Baseball. It's quite literally a day for the history books. It was a beautiful day up at Wrigley Field Saturday. The wind was howling. The vibes were electric. There were some shirts off in the bleachers. That looked good. But other than the 21-0 win, guys, it's a pretty brutal stretch to go 1-5 after you beat the Rays. So where does that leave us as a Chicago Cubs fan base? Like I said, guys, at the start of Bleacher Bum TV, we're not going to measure ourselves against wins and losses, even though we want to go to the playoffs. We're going to measure ourselves against good times and bad times. And I'll be honest, last week there were a bunch of bad times. Bad weather, bad fucking games, bad pitching performances. And I do want to circle Marcus Stroman here for a second. Can I get a picture of Marcus Stroman? Hello, Marcus. I'd like to talk to you for a second. You cannot continue to pitch like a number 5 who doesn't belong in Major League Baseball. I know it's only 3 starts, but for $25 million, we need you to get the fucking show on the road, bud. Not in June, not in July, right now. Like next start, this is where it happens, Marcus. Please, get back on track. And we talk about starting pitching, guys. This team is going to fucking hit. I mean, even Nico Hoerner's hitting .327, 16 hits, second on the team in hits behind who? Seiya Suzuki. It's a good lineup. Almost everybody in the starting lineup has over a 100 OPS plus, which means the team, on average, is significantly better than your average major league hitter. They're first in average. They're first in on base. They're now second in slugging. They're first in runs scored in the National League. This is a very competent offensive lineup, and the front offices seem to be pretty adept at putting the right hitters in the right place. So what does that mean for us as Cubs fans? If we fucking pitch the ball and we catch it, we're going to be a pretty good team, Danny. We're going to be a pretty good team. What do you think?
We're going to be pretty good.
We're going to be a pretty good team. But the problem is we're not pitching it right now. We're not catching it. And again, guys, those 3 one-run losses, if one of those things goes the other way, are we really hitting a fucking panic button right now at 8-8? No, we're not. So I'm not going to hit a panic button at 7-9. I'm just going to point this out as we move forward. We have 14 games coming up that are absolutely brutal. I'm going to do this off the top of my head, even though I just read it. 3 at Atlanta, 3 at Milwaukee, then home for 2 against the White Sox, another 3 at home against the Dodgers, and then we're back on the road for 3 at the San Diego Padres, and that doesn't even include the next batch of 3 games, which is on the road, the Diamondbacks, and those West Coast road trips, they are not good to us, guys. We know that they're not good to us. We size this up. Those are the next 14 games. If we go 500 over that stretch, we're 14-16 through our first 30, through basically the first 20% of the season, which I can battle with. If we pitch, though, this team, this lineup, the 2022 Chicago Cubs, are good enough to do better than just 500 on this 14-game stretch. And I say that knowing these are good fucking teams. Atlanta's good. They just won the World Series. Milwaukee always pitches it. The White Sox are going to play us tough, even though they're banged up, and quite frankly, they're not very good right now. But then you got to go Dodgers, you got to go Padres. We're going to be asking a lot from this lineup. Let's just take it one game at a time. And like I said, the better a guy like Marcus Stroman pitches, the better off we're all going to be. The top of the rotation has to show up because we're still waiting for Wade Miley to come back. And when he does, can you guys honestly imagine a scenario where it's going to go Smiley, it's going to go fucking Wade Miley, Hendricks is going to be throwing 86 miles an hour. That's going to be a very slow pitching staff, guys. But before we get there, let's just focus on the good times. We had a lot of good times this weekend. I know they went 2-5, but that Saturday 21-0 win, that was a special time around Wrigleyville. It's been actually much better than I think we could all expect. So let's bring in our neighborhood correspondent, Danny Conrad, and let's get the lowdown on what's going around the ballpark this weekend. Danny, welcome to today's show.
Thank you for having me.
Pretty tough performance on the field this week for the Chicago Cubs. What do we have off the field?
So after the Cubs put up 3 touchdowns on the Pirates, Frank Schwindel was spotted at Murphy's Bleachers, kicking back a couple Diet Millers with people that he definitely just met for the first time.
Wow, can we get a visual of this?
Can we put up that picture I got legal rights to?
I love it. I love Frank Schwindel hanging out with the people. Probably didn't get recognized on his way to Murphy's. What people don't know is that's a tough walk out of the players' entrance all the way around Wrigley Field to the bleachers. You can't just go out the back door.
And the best part is, Frank got carded. He probably even had to show 2 forms after waiting in line for 15 minutes.
We love Frank Schwindel. He's always welcome to hang around the ballpark. Hopefully this is the type of Cubs team we get more players hanging around the bars. I do love that. What don't I love?
Can we roll the tape, please?
How many times I got to tell you guys, no fighting in the bleachers?
If you're going to fight, go to Gallagher Way where you can be in an open field, under the lights, really getting all that working. But, yeah.
Is that an official endorsement from Bleacher Bum TV? We're encouraging people to now fight in Gallagher Way.
There's no fighting in the bleachers, but there's a workaround. You can go in Gallagher Way. Place is basically meant for fights.
The bleachers, the problem is you got to have the high ground if you're getting into a. It's not a neutral. It's just a bad setting. So from the mechanics of getting into a fight, the bleachers are a horrible place to get into a fight. But just from a bigger picture, we don't want it. I know it's a night game. I know people are excited, but it's just save it for the South Side.
There's a time and a place. Bleachers is rarely ever a good place to have a fight. If you saw that video, 3 guys went down. The high man remains undefeated, and after one got him in a headlock, and the guy in the flannel just hit him with a gong against the stomach. So hopefully those guys had some extreme scaries after waking up the next day and seeing themselves all over the internet fighting in the bleachers.
It's tough.
Which we specifically told you not to do.
Next week, we're going to be working on our fucking headlock techniques. Until then, I want to tell you guys, it's not hard to make friends in the bleachers. You have to go in there looking to pick a fight and be a huge asshole. Danny, you made a huge friend this weekend in the bleachers.
Yeah, I met Sean Evans from Hot Ones. He claimed that he had a thing or two to teach me about wings. I don't know how much this guy knows, but yeah, let's roll the tape.
And we're here with some fresh wings. We brought in an expert, Sean Evans from Hot Ones, a good close personal friend of the Barstool Chicago office.
I think that's fair to say.
Danny, we hate the way you eat a wing.
It's really not even that hot. I'm really not feeling the heat yet.
I like this segment, Danny. I thought you went in there. You tried to no-sell it. You tried to no-sell the sauce.
They really weren't that hot, but I don't know.
We have some wings here. I thought who better than to eat 2 dozen wings with than Danny and Sean. Sean, when you grab a wing, do you have a preference on a leg or a drum?
Drum. Yep. I like a drum. Oh, what the hell is
There's
this?
paper. That's wax paper. That's a Wrigleyville special.
A flat can sometimes be a little bit complicated, especially when doing an interview show.
Some people don't like putting their tongue through the flats, bones. That's a thing. Because that's the only way to get all the meat out of the flat. You gotta put your
Who
tongue
said
through
they
it.
don't like to put their tongue?
I got a couple sources that I'm not gonna name.
Are you ever hungry when you interview somebody? Do you find yourself biting more?
I'm not full. No, you actually, no. Because I'll eat a little bit because you'll want like a banana in you or like some toast in you. You don't want to be on an empty stomach, but then you also don't want to be like hungry. I don't know. That's a good question, Carl. I guess I'm not like hungry when I'm doing the show.
Mm-hmm.
Look at you, Carl.
Wow. I just asked a good question to the king of good questions. You're a fan of the show.
I am. You guys are 3 episodes in and I haven't missed an episode yet. I've been watching.
How about
we made him
that?
say that.
I knew that. No, Tommy, when I saw you today, I'd never met you before.
True.
I saw you on the street, and what I said to you, I saw that you had the wings.
You're right.
And I did that unprompted.
I appreciate
So don't
that.
check me.
How much respect do you lose for the celebrities that don't finish the wings, aka Chance the
Oh,
Rapper?
the wings are super hot. And one time I remember, after we shot with Seth Rogen, he's like, "These are not famous people hot." You know what I mean? It's really hot. So I kind of get it. I kind of get it when if somebody taps out or whatever, because I don't want to hurt anybody, and I'm not like, "Oh, you gotta get through" or anything like that. What I think works with the show is you push yourself to your limit. To me, a good example of somebody who tapped out is Lil Yachty. He never had spicy food before. He got through 7 or 8, and I do think that was as far as he could go. So in those episodes, I'm always that's awesome to me. You know what I mean? It's when they aren't really challenged or they haven't reached any sort of limit or uncomfortable zone, and they're just like over and tap out. Like that to me would be kind of lame.
I'd rather like lose a kidney than tap out on hot ones.
Yeah, that's a
like-
tough one. That's a tough look. Here's my last question. Who out of all the people you've interviewed, Sean, have you been most jonesing to like get a beer with afterwards?
The Dave Grohl episode that we had recently, we were just doing shot after shot after shot after shot. And it did have like a party vibe to it. And I did have a feeling like I want to keep this party going.
Okay, well, I want to keep this party going with you. We're going to have some more beers. We're going to have some more wings. But for the time being, we're going to have to cut this interview short. You guys can't see the rest of the debauchery that's about to go on. This is Sean Evans. This is Danny Conrad. This is Bleacher Bum TV.
Long live Bleacher Bum. Long live Bleacher Bum TV.